My name is James Fuller. I'm a professional cricketer. I'm 35. Sports mad, loved it. All the sports. Really wanted to be a professional cricketer, and I got that opportunity when I was 21. Played for Gloucestershire, played for Middlesex, and most recently Hampshire. And I live here in Winchester with my family, with my wife and 3 kids. I have recently had a major injury. I was playing in a competition over in the States. I was playing for the Houston Generals in the NCL. During the match, I was running for a 2 and completely ruptured my hamstring, sort of lateral hamstring down the side of the leg. It was a pretty horrific sort of feeling. Felt like I sort of got shot by a high caliber round right in the back of the leg. I'm 2 weeks post-surgery. HBOT, well, I first was aware of it during the start of the 2024 season when we played a game at Surrey, the Oval, and they've recently redone their changing rooms. It's amazing. They've got all this like futuristic tech in there to help recovery. They've got ice chambers, they've got infrared saunas, and they've also got HBOT. And so that's when I was first sort of aware of it. And I did some research and I was like, all right, why have they got this? How is it going to help them? Looked into it, saw that it's a net positive. It's going to help you recover between games. It's going to help you recover from injuries. And I was sitting at my house in Winchester wondering, in the middle of the season, is there anything that's going to help me recover? And looked on Google Maps, and here's hyperbaric right here in Winchester. I got in contact with the team, said, look, is there any way you can help me out? And they said, yeah, absolutely, come on down. We'll give you some sessions. And it certainly helped. I had one of my best seasons of my career, so it was a massive help. I sort of forgot about hyperbaric after my surgery, or after my injury. I was sitting on the couch in pain, wondering what I could do, and my wife was, my moments of despair. She was like, "Just breathe, you'll be all right." And that sort of sparked something. We've got a hyperbaric HBOT just here in Winchester. Again, I got in contact with the team. I said, look, I've had this major injury. I've just had an operation. Is there any way that you could fit me in for some sessions? And they said, absolutely, come on down. And it's been a real positive for me because as an athlete, you always want to do something to help you recover. For me, HBOT is amazing. It really, you're supercharging that recovery phase, which is awesome. As an athlete, and it means I'm gaining that sort of a little bit of momentum early on in the recovery, which means I'll be, at the start hours, then days ahead of the recovery curve, and for a major injury like this, 3 months down the line, I'll be weeks ahead of the injury curve, and that's for any athlete that's huge because time spent recovering is sort of time out the game, and for me heading into the 2026 season. Hopefully I'm not going to be chasing fitness. I'll be building on it, and that's all thanks to HBOT. Definitely say after the first few sessions I had here at HBOT or HybO, the pain was suddenly like way less. After 4 sessions, the pain was pretty much gone in my hamstring, and I was able to get around a little bit easier. And I'm sure that's down to HBOT. And I had my first official rehab session yesterday with the physio, Tom O'Malley down at Hampshire, and he was surprised by how well I could, how much strength I had in my hamstring already. So I'm obviously ahead of the curve, and everyone's pretty impressed with the recovery so far. After a session, how I feel is I think for me it's about mental. I feel like I'm because I'm in this injury recovery phase. Doing something towards recovering and doing it properly really does scratch that sort of mental itch where as an athlete, as I said before, you don't really want to sit around doing nothing. So it feels like I'm heading in the right direction, and that's huge as in the recovery phase. I feel like I'm sleeping a lot after these HBOT sessions. They seem to be giving my body as much energy as I need to get that recovery in, and certainly feel like I'm sleeping, even though I've got 3 kids and one of them's a baby. Keeping up at night, I'm getting my rest. And I certainly think HBOT is growing all over the world, just because I think the scientific literature is sort of backing up what people are experiencing. And I think as sort of teams, organisations, sports, they sort of pump more money into recovery, which is obviously a huge tool you're going to be seeing HBOT all over the world and in all sorts of different sports. You saw it, as I said, in Surrey cricket team, and I think that's just going to evolve into more and more teams around the world. And I think for myself, it's a huge tool that I'm not going to use all the time, but used at the right time. So used during when you're in the most strenuous part of the season, when you're playing all the sorts of games, and you get that real systematic, so that sort of total body fatigue, which you can't really get on top of normally. And that's when you're going to lean into a tool like HBOT, or when you're, as I am, recovering from a major injury and you want to cut that recovery time down. I think, again, that's when you're going to lean into a tool like HBOT. So there's always there's a time and a reason to use it. And I think right now that's why I'm using it. I think, athletes all over should be using it in all sorts of sports. As I said, it's about when you use it. So are you in a strenuous part of the season or campaign? Are you really training really hard and you need that extra recovery? Or are you recovering from an injury? And so I think that's when you're going to be seeing athletes lean into it a lot more. I just like the professional environment. It's a big open space. I was really surprised when I first came here how open it was, and also I like how everything looks and feels so professional. And the equipment's top end, and everyone's so knowledgeable. The staff are knowledgeable, and they seem to know a lot, and they seem to really want to help you. And so it seems like really customized and super helpful. If someone else asked me whether HBOT's worth trying, I would say absolutely. And as I said before, it's time and place. Where are you in your season? Where are you in your training? And how do you feel? Do you feel like you're not recovering? Do you feel like you're not at baseline? And is that because you're not getting the right recovery in? And that's where I'd say, lean into HBOT. I would describe HBOT powerful, scientific recovery.